Counting days for President Tinubu as the North plot next move. The 10-day nationwide hunger protest tagged End Bad Governance protest, which began on August 1st, had lost steam long before it billed end date of Saturday, August 10th, in part on account of repression by state agents. But in its wake is a resounding message to President Bola Tinubu that the country's core North, whose votes saw him over the finish line in the highly contentious 2023 presidential election, may no longer be there for the taking come another contest in 2027. Riotous scenes in Kaduna, Kano, Jigawa, Zamfara, Nasarawa, and elsewhere in the north, which characterized the protests in the region, led to the reported murdering of not less than 17 individuals, including Ismail Mohammed, 18, who was shot at point-blank range by a soldier in Zaria. If bride-to-be, Firdausi Mohammed, murdered by stray bullets in Rija Lemo, Kano, among others, as security agencies sought to quell the protest. Attempt by Bayo Onanoga, special advisor to the president on media and strategy, to pin the protest on P2B, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the last election. His supporters across Nigeria and indeed Igbo people in general failed to materialize as the South has firmly boycotted the protest, while thousands felt by anger over unpalatable economic realities in the country, stormed northern capitals to more or less pass a vote of no confidence on Tinubu. Many raised Russian flags calling for Russian President Vladimir Putin's intervention in Nigeria, even as some expressly called for military takeover of the country. The Russia is communist while the West is capitalist. They, the West, are actually exploiting our resources. Our leaders have been their puppets and we cannot take it anymore, declared Aliyu Abdullahi, one of the protesters waving Russian flags in Kaduna. Another protester, Lawal Sela, shared similar opinion. People are dying because of the hunger. Let the president restore full subsidy, he said. We are looking for help from Russia. The federal government has since arrested over 90 persons across the region in connection with the Russian flags, with the Chief of Defense Staff, General Mustafa Musa, had branded the treasonable act, while over 800 people have been arrested in connection with the protest. The first spokesperson, Olimuyiwa Adejobi, who announced the arrest last week, said the operatives of the force were working relentlessly to arrest those who sponsored the mass production of the flags. Also in the custody of the Department of State Service, DSS, are 7 Polish nationals who were arrested in connection with the violent protest in Kano. The spokesperson of the DSS, Peter Afunaya, revealed on Wednesday when the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Toga, held a meeting with members of the diplomatic corps that 7 individuals were being grilled by the service. Poland has, however, said those arrested were only taking pictures and had nothing to do with the protest. The use of Russian flags by the protesters and the violent turn of the protest in northern states had led to various speculations about the motive. Speaking on Channels Television on Tuesday, Shehu Sani, former Kaduna Central Senator, alleged that they were part of a plot by certain interest groups to overthrow the government of President Tinubu. Sani, a known political adversary of Nasser Rufai, the immediate past governor of Kaduna State, noted that although the intention of the protest was genuine, the idea was hijacked in the north by elements seeking to change the script. What we have seen in the last few days is not a peaceful protest as far as I'm concerned from the northern part of Nigeria. The whole idea was hijacked and the script was changed as far as the north was concerned. Those who called for the protest may have come from Lagos or anywhere, but there were no visible leadership as far as Kano, Kaduna, Jigawa, and Kaduna, and all the states witnessed violence in the north are concerned, Sani said. It is a fact that even protests have rules, and the first rule is that there should be a reason for people to protest. Of course, there is hunger, there is hardship, there is suffering as a result of the economic reforms program, which is enough reason for people to protest. But secondly, a protest also needs leadership whose responsibility is to control and guide the crowd. That was not the case in the north, and from what we have seen, especially in Kaduna State where I come from, people were called out to the street and then left on autopilot. Young people used the opportunity to launch attacks on public infrastructure and loot establishment. Then a new dimension to this is that a day before the last protest, money was shared to youth and Russian flags were also shared. That showed the whole intent of the protest was an attempt to create an atmosphere where there will be an overthrow of a government. And when you have this situation, you will see that there is someone writing a script for anarchy. Sani remarks is not, however, supported by concrete evidence and findings by Business Hallmark interacting with individuals in the north indicate that the protesters drew inspiration from recent military coup in neighboring Niger Republic as well as Mali and Burkina Faso, where the junta that took power sought alliance with Russia while severing relationship with the West. These situations mirror what happened in Mali, Niger, and elsewhere when military coups eventually toppled democratically elected government. When these coups occurred, we witnessed sporadic protests in support of the military and Russia, and the new military regimes immediately turned to Russia, noted Bolama Bukati, lawyer and senior fellow at the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change. He warned, however, that military governments are dictatorial, ineffective, and often brutal. I sincerely hope Nigeria does not follow this path. However, the rampant corruption, inefficiency, and lack of empathy among our politicians are undermining democracy and fueling calls for a military takeover. The sooner politicians get their act together and prove their ability to govern effectively, the better it will be for everyone. Anti-Western sentiments are growing across West Africa and has recently gathered momentum in Nigeria. In part, because of exposition by notable influencers like journalist David Hundeyi, who has attempted to draw a direct link between Africa's underdevelopment and the Western interest on the continent. The waving of Russian flag is best appreciated in this context, even if it is possible, as Senator Sani alleged, there are political actors behind it, the North-South-West Alliance. In the aftermath of the 2023 presidential election, which Tinubu relied heavily on votes from the Northwest and the Northeast to emerge victorious, people like Femi Fani-Kayode, the former Minister of Aviation, went to town to tout an unbreakable alliance between the people of the Northwest and the Southwest, which according to him would withstand any storm, any rule, and rule Nigeria forever. Whether anyone likes it or not, one thing is clear, this is a new Nigeria, where unity is the watchword, and where the newly established alliance and newfound trust between the people of the Southwest and the people of the North shall never again be broken. Together we can withstand any storm, the former minister wrote in a post via his X handle at Real FFK on March 30, 2023. In a subsequent post on May 11th that same year, he wrote, "The land between the old western region and the old northern region, which the January 15, 1966 coup plot has put to an end, has finally been re-established 57 years later in 2023. This is the doing of the Lord, and it is marvelous in our sight." And it goes on and on. My own be say, if they still do not attend to the pain points of the people, address the pain point of the people, another protest will come and it is going to be very bloody. Everywhere go red, head go roll. So instead of saying God forbid, let the politicians get their act together and give Nigerians good governance. So right on this note, we've come to the end of the news. So thank you for tuning in to listen until I come your way next time. Enjoy the rest.